I truly believe Misfits can be the home of boxing. With every event, you're going to see spectacular things, and those spectacular moments create stars. A lot of people are actually scared of the idea of fighting. I don't think Jake Paul is very good. I don't think he's improved at all. I don't even think Tommy is that great after being in the ring with him. There wasn't anything that made me go, oh, Tommy was a problem. And the same thing goes with Jake. There's nothing that makes me go, Jake is a problem. He just weight bullies. I'm just not going to f around anymore. I'm done with that. I mean, I'd love to get Speed. From what I know, he's definitely been interested.
Has there been anyone that's reached out to you that's expressed interest where you go, man, I didn't think you'd want to? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, as always joined by my co-host, BL, and we are back in Newcastle for X Series 18.
Ben, it's good to be with you in person. It's like we've done some multiverse stuff here. But I tell you something, we've got a special guest lined up for today.
Do we?
We do, and we got the man you've all been waiting for, Deji!
Unfortunately, Deji was booked. Deji was booked, so we've got the next best thing. It's KSI. JJ, how are you, sir?
Wow, what an intro. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. Newcastle, Misfits 18. Let's go, baby.
Gosh, 18 editions of X Series, and it's only been 2 years, which is pretty wild. I want to take it back to the beginning, the big bang of Misfits Boxing. Why did you decide to create this platform?
Well, I just saw that the internet boxing scene was just a mess. It was just all over the place. So I felt like we needed to just bring it all together into one entity. We felt like Misfits was the place for that.
When you created Misfits, what were sort of your expectations when you looked at the whole overarching and all these other events going on?
Honestly, we didn't have any expectation. We were just like, let's create this thing and see what happens. And it was just hype from the get-go. Like, people just loved it. People just gravitated towards it. And, you know, for us, it was all about building a community. Like, it's cool just, you know, having, like, fighters or internet personalities fighting or, you know, crossover boxing, whatever, just people fighting. But, like, we saw that having a community and building this togetherness around it is what's going to make it grow, essentially. And that's what the main goal has always been, just building a community around it. And you see it on, you know, in the spaces on Twitter, or just, you know, in the community on Twitter in general, or you see it online on Instagram. You see it all over in the comments, the people going out physically, seeing it and enjoying it and wanting to go to the next one, and people screaming for it to go to different countries. You know, Scandinavian countries have been begging for it. You know, Australia has been begging for it. Like, all these countries and places want to see the Misfits events. So, you know, for us, it's all about community and just building that.
Completely. And again, 2 years later, more stronger than ever. And with all these incredible cards, there's been some learning curves along the way, right?
Yes.
Tell me about some of the favorite moments where you've gone, man, that's a light bulb for me.
Mams comes up with a lot of crazy ideas. And I love the idea. I mean, I know it's the first one, but the mystery opponent I thought was sick. The idea of, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, this is all so new to us. And to a sense, people were like, oh, this is a bit gimmicky. But people bought into it. And people essentially saw it, loved it, and then were just hooked from the get-go. So, you know, stuff like that was sick. Obviously, just seeing people, you know, different fighters, left, right, and center, you know, the shock of Dean the Great and Walid Sharks, that main event in itself was, like, we didn't even think that was going to be a main event. We were, like, trying to decide, oh, do we think this is main event worthy? But we made it main event, and fuck me, man, we were gassed because it was one of the best fights we've ever seen. And, you know, like, you just see it from people just constantly hyping everything up, being like, oh, we can't wait to see this, we can't wait to see this. So, yeah.
With 18 cards, surely you have one that you go, that's the standout for me. That's my favorite. Me personally, I liked it when I saw Ben Davis get clatted out by
That's nice of you, BL. That's cool.
So, out of all of them,
it's hard, man. Like, obviously, I can be biased and say the one where I knocked out Fournier with my elbow was
Yeah, that was.
one of my highlights.
I don't know if it's an elbow.
Crowning achievement, man.
I felt like it was a bit more of a forearm, but all
Just like
the
shoot fighters training.
yeah.
MVP was like, that's it.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
Or the Tampa fight. Obviously, that was a good card, and then obviously for me to finish it like that was sick. Prime card, I was just full of like big moments, especially Slim versus Soul Pappy. No one expected that outcome. So, but then I don't want to be that guy that just says, "Oh, the previous event was the best," but I really, really like Misfits 17. It was so wholesome. It was so like I had a good feeling from it. I don't know if anyone else felt that, but like, obviously me performing at the beginning and the end was just super sick. Me performing in general was just dope again because I haven't performed in so long, and it was cool that the Irish fans responded well to that. But also just the fights in between, me being able to commentate as well, and just the fights in between, seeing some sick knockouts, seeing Dean do his thing. Like I don't know, I thought the whole event felt great. Like there was even controversy as well with Ben Williams. But like, it kind of had everything. I was looking at all the Irish fans and all their faces, and you could just see them like as they were leaving, just smiling like, wow, that was great. Like I had a great time. This is dope. I can't wait to see more. So.
And you crushed it on comps, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But with these 18 editions of X Series, one of the big questions is, what has been the largest learning lesson, right? What's the biggest thing you've learned?
I think for us, it's definitely a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just making sure like everything flows well. Making sure the audience are engaged all the time. Making sure if you're a new viewer, you know what's going on, and it's not just a mess. And it's just a circus, and you're just there like, this is overwhelming, I'm out. We want to make sure we accommodate new watchers, old watchers, and just making it an enjoyable experience. And I think for us, we're always never afraid to try new things. Like, sometimes things, miss, sometimes things hit. So like with tag team, a lot of people thought that was going to be a miss. A lot of people said this is stupid, makes no sense. And it's a hit. People love it every time it happened. Even people have seen it happen and are still like, oh, I'm not sure. But I did enjoy the last one, but I don't know if we should do it again. And they see it again and they're like, oh, this is great. It's fantastic. So I don't, maybe I'm not being as critical as I should be, but that's just because Misfits is my baby. But I feel like we've done a lot right because it's been 2 years and no organization in combat sports has been able to replicate what we've done. From the pay-per-views to the amount of viewers we get, to the commotion, the community we built. Like UFC, it took them 20 years. For us, it's, we've reached a level, such a high level in just 2. I think it's incredible. So obviously we're a work in progress. There's definitely a lot we could, work on. People could say matchmaking could be better. We could improve in that, but it's still a learning curve. I know a lot of people have said we need more internet influencers or YouTubers fighting, but there's only really a finite amount of YouTubers that want to fight. And that's kind of why we're trying to broaden the horizon and stretch our arms out and have pro fighters fight. Have people who aren't YouTubers, but are influencers in a different field, or musicians, or footballers. We don't want it to just only be YouTube boxing. I think we need to get rid of this idea that it's YouTube boxing. I think that is dead. We've now evolved into crossover boxing or influencer boxing or just boxing in a sense that it can reach all fields. It can reach all fields. And I've always said this. I truly believe Misfits can be the home of boxing. Obviously, a lot of the Saudis are definitely gonna say something else about that.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Whoa, JJ."
Yeah. I don't know if you got the money to be able to make that happen, but that's why I keep going on about community. Like, you can have all the money in the world, but you can't force a community to happen. You have to build that organically, and I think that's what we're doing.
Well, I definitely think the best move you made was bringing in Ben Davis over Wade. But I sort of want to
Shots fired, wow.
I want to take a moment to sort of reflect onto those fighters. You say how Misfits have built a community, how you built fighters. When you actually look at Dean, when you look at Slim and how much they've grown, I actually want to take a moment to look at a video Dean did.
Yeah, okay.
So you can see from the start to now and see that improvement.
I think I might have seen it.
The one that
him when he's getting beat up.
Yeah.
Exhausted. Yeah.
That one here.
Yeah.
And then the other day when we saw him.
One in the quit, yeah. But that's the thing, like, I've been in that situation as well.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like having built people like that, to get them into a sport like boxing, that is so dangerous and completely change their lives? I mean, Dean before Misfits, no offense to him, was not the name that he is now.
Yeah,
same with Slim, same with
well, honest, like, no one really knew who these people were. And now they're stars. It's just as simple as that. And, credit to Misfits, but credit to them as well. They've put in the work, Slim, Sop Happy, Dean, etc. Like, these guys are putting the work. Elbrook, she's putting the work. Like, that's just the situation, and they've done well. And we're just here to just boost them up. And, obviously, we've had controversy with people, wanting to head over to different organizations, etc. But, there's no place like home, man. And, we treat everyone here with absolute care. And we want the best for them because it's great for us as well. As as a company, if they're doing well, we're doing well. So that's just how it is.
And families fight, right? At the end of the day, sometimes families fight, man.
Of course.
But you mentioned right there that connected with you because you've been in that spot before. When you see videos like that, when you see boxers post about those moments, what does that speak to you?
Well, it's just great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fantastic. Like, it just, for me, I've been in these situations where, I started out boxing and I was just like, let me try this out. Especially with the whole Joella thing, let me see how it is. And I hate it. But I had to do it because there was pressure in doing it. And I just threw myself into it. And honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done. I'm so glad because, health is so important, man. And it has made me such a healthy person. It's made me such a confident person. I'm able to look in the mirror after, working out and just being like, wow, I feel good, I look good, and I'm happy, and I've done well for myself. And, like, even when I was single and I was, in shape and everything, bro, like, I was going crazy, man. I was enjoying myself, and I was able to, like, talk to women and not feel a certain way. I was able to really feel myself. And I've always said how important boxing is, or, how important, working out is. And it just shows, and it's a different level whenever, especially when you, like, fight. You train hard, you fight, and you win a fight. Oh, there's no better feeling. Like, I've experienced the ultimate highs of almost everything. Like, some people think I'm dead inside, honestly. Like, but I've performed in front of thousands of people, or millions in terms of, like, music, or I've been in a movie, or I've red carpet this or that, but nothing compares to training hard for a fight and then winning and then seeing what you've done and then just taking it all in. That moment, it's just fantastic to see, the boxers train hard and, reach that point. And even if you haven't won a fight, train harder and harder to get to that point so you can feel what it feels like. It's like gladiators going for it, and then you just being the gladiator that won. It's just, there's something about it that it's hard to explain, but it's just euphoric.
You talk about this journey and what you can do with your life and everything. So I ask you the question, how far can these crossover boxers go? You see so many people trying to go further and further. So in your opinion, how far can you go? Can Dean the Great beat Shakur Stevenson?
Why not? Why not? We laugh, but why not? Like, for me, like, when I was going to fight Tommy Fury, everyone laughed. They were like, he'll destroy you. You have no chance. He's going to knock you out. And then we saw the fight, and arguably, he lost. arguably people might say, oh, you know, it's up in the air, but it's now the conversation isn't, oh, you know, he would have destroyed you. It's, oh, you know, it was close. It's simple as that. Like with Dean versus Shakur, let's see what happens. It could be close. Shakur might destroy him.
Well, he's a prime athlete. You'd hope so.
Yeah. But Dean might destroy him. We don't know. That's the beauty of crossover boxing. You never really know, and that's why I just love it. You don't know exactly what could happen, and that's why people just gravitate towards it, and that's why people are just excited, and you know they watch every event because it's not easy. It's not like traditional boxing where you've got a guy who's just fighting journeyman left, right, and center, and you know what's going to happen all the time. You know this guy is just being built up. He's going to win his fight. With crossover boxing, we go, this guy is a big prospect. This guy's a big prospect. Let's see what happens. Chaos.
Yeah, and everyone's human. Everyone can be knocked out or lose.
Exactly.
And talking more about the unknown, we don't know who's going to carry the torch for Misfits Boxing moving forward, right? Who is this next star? In your analysis, who do you think is the head of the next wave?
I mean, it could literally be anyone, man. Like, it could be anyone on Misfits 18, this card. You know, people could say it's Al Brook. People could say from the last card, HS, TikkyTokky. People could say it was Dean the Great. Some people might say Slim. Some people might say Anthony Taylor. Like, you know, some people might even say Soap Happy. Like, you know, it's not like he's done. You know, he can still knock people out. He's still training. So, you know, there's several names. Some people even say Deji. You know, like, with these things, you never know. It's just, with every event, you're going to see spectacular things. And those spectacular moments create stars.
You mentioned the name HS TikkyTokky. Now I'm hearing rumours of a fight with Dylan Dennis. What's going on there? Is Dylan docking? Is he not signing the contract? Can we get some
I think
exclusives?
a lot of people are actually scared of the idea of fighting HS TikkyTokky.
I personally would be.
Well, I mean, you saw what he did to Zarka when Zarka tried running up on him. Not my Zarka.
Yeah.
Different Zarka.
He wouldn't stand a chance against the British Zarka. He wouldn't stand a chance, man. Tommy T.
Yeah. But, like, you just saw what he could do, and it was just out in the street. And then you saw what he did to the other guy. I'm not even going to say his name because it was so despicable. But he's a guy that people are starting to fear. Simple as that.
I want to ask about the maybe ceiling for HS TikkyTokky because you, Mams, many have said within a year he beats Jake Paul. Why is that? What informs that thought process?
I don't think Jake Paul is very good. Yeah. I don't think he's improved at all. Let's be honest, since the Deji fight, I personally haven't seen too much from him that makes me scared. I haven't seen anything that really, like, terrorize. You know, I just don't see anything that's good from him. I just think he's slow. I think he's slow, sluggish. I think he just follows. He has set pieces. He has set moves, set combos. And he's just so readable. He's so obvious. It's so easy to know what he's going to do and to be able to counter that. And that's why Tommy just destroyed him. Like, I don't even think Tommy is that great after being in the ring with him. You know, I'm always going to say he had the judges on his side, or he had the whole boxing scene on his side, and that's why the result was the result. But there wasn't anything that made me go, oh, Tommy was a problem. And the same thing goes with Jake. There's nothing that makes me go, Jake is a problem. He just weight bullies. Yeah. And he's been weight bullying since Gibb.
What stunted his growth? Because as someone who trains in a hard environment, right, with amazing coaches, Jake has that, right? He's got the resources. So why isn't he improving in your guess?
Honestly, I don't know. I think he's full of yes men. I think he's got yes men all around him that don't push him to the levels that he's meant to be. Because he's not a heavyweight. He's not a heavyweight. I don't know why he's decided to become a heavyweight, but he uses this weight to his advantage, and that's why he, destroyed Mike Perry, because he just was too big for Mike. Mike is a beast. Let's not get it twisted. Like, he can take shots, but when he's fighting people his weight, he's a demon. when he's fighting someone who is almost twice him, like, bro, like, it's hard. Weight is such a major factor in boxing, and it just shows. So he just weight bullies, man.
JJ, you're sounding very confident, like you're going to beat Jake Paul. And
I've been confident. I know I can beat Jake Paul. He doesn't want to fight me. Doesn't want.
How do we make this fight happen? We're on Misfits News, so set it.
It's not going to happen. I'm going to be ready at all times. I'm ready at all
It's
times.
185. I want to set some rules.
I've said 185, and I'm not going to change it. Tommy was able to make it. Why is Jake struggling to make it now?
Good point.
Like, I'm just not going to fuck around anymore. I'm done with that. I'm just going to stick to what I know and fight people who want to fight me or are willing to fight me at that weight. Simple as that.
The question is, if he's not going to face you after Mike Tyson, who would you want to see Jake Paul maybe go against? What would be like a logical step for him?
An actual boxer that isn't 50 plus years old.
Someone that's not retired.
Well, I mean, it hasn't happened. And the one time it did, he lost.
I want to get into this Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in the Misfits boxing world.
Okay.
If we can get any people, any names, Sidemen, Beta Squad, anyone you could possibly add to this universe, who would it be?
I mean, I'd love to get Speed.
Speed, how do we make it happen?
Well, I think from what I know, he's definitely been interested. You know, from talking to him, he's definitely interested in. I mean, you saw what he was doing with Manny Pacquiao.
We got to run it back, maybe.
Competitive to me.
Like he is drawn towards it, and he's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on, and obviously he's gonna explore all his fields. But I know boxing is definitely one he's very interested in.
Who would you put him up against? Anyone?
Honestly, you could put him against anyone, and people are gonna watch it, man.
We just start doing backflips mid-fight.
That's the thing, he would. He's that crazy. He doesn't care. He loves it all. And he's just entertaining, and that's why, he has such a big fan base, and he has such a movement. And I think he could literally fight anyone, and it'd be incredible. It'd be cool to see someone like KSI as well enter the scene. Well, I don't think any of the sidemen would, but, Ethan... He's always, dilly.
It's nearly there.
I don't know. He's hit or miss. I think, I don't know, maybe in a few years, I don't know, we'll see. It's one of the things where financially, if it makes sense to him, or not even financially, if it just makes sense for him in general, like if it excites him, then yeah, he'll do it. Because, for some people it's about money, for some people it isn't about money. For some people it's just the challenge, the idea of, challenging yourself and seeing what you can do. It's nice, like, I've made a decent amount of money, and I'm always still looking to always challenge myself to do new things, because it just gets boring doing the same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers that probably feel like that. There's probably a lot of influencers that feel like that. They're just stuck in this rut, and that's why with Misfits, it's there as a way to just, as a new outlet, a new way to just excite yourself.
Breaks up the monotony.
Yeah.
And while expressing interest in competing is one thing, training, going through a fight camp, signing the dotted line is another. But I'm curious, has there been anyone that's reached out to you that's expressed interest where you go, man, I didn't think you'd want to?
Well, the thing I don't know if I can say. I don't know if I can say the people who have expressed interest, because I know this will probably turn into a headline somewhere.
Sure, for sure. Hey, I respect it.
Yeah, I have to probably keep the cards close to that one. Yeah.
To sort of summarise things off before I let Ben end this interview, where does Misfits go from here? What is the future projection? If you look 3, 4, 5 years down the line, where do you want it to be?
The home of boxing. That's what I want. That is my goal. And I don't care if it takes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's going to be my baby, and I'm going to make it happen.
I absolutely love it. One of the most special guests we've had in Misfits News history. KSI, thank you so much. Final message to the fans.
Misfits 18. Well, I don't know when this is coming out.
Coming out on Tuesday. Call out someone, man. Get a title.
Okay,
Call them out. Let them know.
Let them Misfits 19. I'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure.